The outrage followed just as quickly. The shock was instant when Katya Jones and her celebrity partner Lewis Cope were unexpectedly eliminated from Strictly Come Dancing. It did not feel like just another result in a long-running Saturday night competition. For many viewers, it felt uncomfortably familiar, another chapter in a story they believed they had already seen too many times before. This was not simply about one dance-off, one set of scores, or one public vote. It was about the lingering sense that Katya Jones, despite her brilliance, creativity, and undeniable pedigree, had once again entered the competition already running uphill. Almost immediately after the result was announced, social media erupted. Fans struggled to reconcile the outcome with what they had watched unfold on the dance floor over previous weeks. Katya and Lewis had been consistent, technically strong, and emotionally engaging. And yet, overnight, their journey was over. They were widely viewed as contenders, not casualties. Starting from behind, a perception that refuses to fade. Speaking to the Mirror, PR expert Maya articulated what many viewers had quietly suspected for years but rarely heard said so plainly. According to her, Katya Jones does not begin each series of Strictly Come Dancing on equal footing with her fellow professionals. Instead, Maya argued, Katya seems to start every season from a lower baseline, fighting not only for votes and scores, but against an entrenched narrative that follows her wherever she goes. The elimination itself was dramatic. Katya and Lewis faced Amber Davies and Nikita Kuzmin in a tense, emotionally charged dance-off. While Amber and Nikita ultimately survived, the decision stunned audiences who had watched Katya and Lewis deliver strong performances week after week. To many, the result felt abrupt and jarring, a sharp ending to a partnership that appeared to be building momentum rather than losing it. Tears, outrage, and accusations of a rigged outcome as the cameras rolled. Katya broke down in tears live on air. It was a rare and raw moment, one that resonated deeply with viewers at home. Her emotional reaction became an immediate focal point, not because it felt theatrical, but because it felt human. Accusations of bias, inconsistency, and even manipulation flooded social media platforms. Online, the response was swift and unforgiving. Some fans went as far as to label the outcome rigged, arguing that the decision defied logic based on performance alone. One theory gained particular traction, that Lewis Cope had been quietly punished for his prior dance experience. According to this argument, his background may have dampened public sympathy and reduced viewer votes. Despite the fact that Strictly has a long and complicated history of casting contestants with varying degrees of performance experience, a double standard laid bare. What further inflamed tensions was the apparent contradiction at the heart of the judge's decision. Amber Davies, after all, is a West End stage star, a performer with extensive professional experience. Yet in the knockout round, it was Amber who was saved by the judges, while Lewis was eliminated under the shadow of being too experienced. To many viewers, this inconsistency was impossible to ignore. If experience was a disadvantage, why did it matter only in certain cases? If it was acceptable, why was it suddenly a liability when attached to Lewis Cope? The contradiction did more than raise eyebrows. It reopened long-standing questions about fairness, transparency, and how narratives are selectively applied within the competition. And crucially, it reinforced a growing belief that Katya Jones often finds herself on the wrong side of those narratives. A career marked by controversy, not always of her own making, this was far from the first time Katya Jones had found herself at the center of public controversy. Since joining Strictly Come Dancing in 2016, the 36-year-old dancer's journey has been punctuated by drama, much of it tied not to her dancing, but to the circumstances surrounding her partnerships. The most infamous chapter came in 2018, when Katya was caught kissing her then dance partner, comedian Sean Walsh, outside a pub while both were in relationships. The fallout was immediate. The images were explosive. Walsh left England for a period, retreating from public life before eventually addressing the incident years later in a stand-up comedy performance in 2022. For Katya, the scandal cast a long shadow. Where he publicly expressed remorse, although time passed and careers continued, the incident became an inescapable reference point, one that resurfaced whenever her name appeared in headlines. Marriage, divorce, and the Strictly curse. In 2019, Katya's marriage to fellow professional dancer Neil Jones came to an end. The separation occurred a year after the scandal, prompting many to link the two events under the infamous banner of the Strictly curse, a term used to describe the pattern of relationships breaking down after involvement in the show. While both parties made it clear that the kiss was not the direct cause of their divorce, the timing was enough to keep Katya firmly in the spotlight. Once again, her personal life seemed inseparable from her professional narrative, a reality few of her peers appeared to endure with the same intensity. The pattern that fans can't ignore since her victory with Joe McFadden in 2017, Katya's subsequent partnerships have often felt plagued by misfortune. She was paired with Tony Adams, whose journey was cut short. Nigel Harman was forced to withdraw due to injury. Last season brought opera singer Wyn Evans, a familiar face from Go Compare commercials, but even that partnership was soon overshadowed by controversy. Wyn was later removed from the Strictly Live tour after making an offensive and sexually inappropriate remark directed at Jeanette Manrara. He issued a public apology, acknowledging that his language was unacceptable. Previously, he had also faced criticism for placing his hand on Katya's waist in a manner that many viewers found uncomfortable. Although both later dismissed the moment as a joke taken out of context, the image lingered, and the damage was done. Over time, these incidents accumulated, reinforcing the perception that Katya's career on Strictly has been repeatedly shaped by circumstances beyond her control. One of the best, yet never the luckiest, PR expert Maya echoed what fans have argued for years. In her view, Katya Jones is among the most creative and technically gifted dancers on the Strictly floor, yet she is consistently paired with partners who face uphill battles of their own. According to Maya, the sense that Katya always begins from a disadvantaged position has become increasingly difficult to dismiss. This may not amount to a deliberate conspiracy, she stressed, but the pattern is unmistakable. Even when Katya finally found a partner who was strong, capable, and competitive, the narrative shifted. Suddenly, Lewis Cope was too experienced. And for that, they paid the price. The death slot and the tyranny of running order. Another factor that infuriated viewers was the running order on the night of elimination. Katya and Lewis were scheduled to perform first, a position often referred to as the death slot. Historically, couples who perform early are at a disadvantage, as judges' scores tend to creep upward as the night progresses. This structural bias, whether intentional or not, has long been a point of contention among fans. For many, it felt like yet another invisible weight placed on Katya's shoulders. When margins are tight, being first can be fatal. When judges save the dance, and silence the audience, the judges' save mechanism, designed to protect technically superior dancers, has also come under renewed scrutiny. While intended to ensure quality, critics argue that it can overshadow the public vote, the very element that gives Strictly its democratic appeal. Maya suggested that the deeper issue lies not in individual decisions, but in how the show controls its overarching narrative. When rules appear flexible and experience is only penalized in selective cases, audiences feel undermined. And once trust begins to erode, it is difficult to restore. A victim of narrative, not incompetence. According to Maya, Lewis Cope is not a victim of professional inadequacy. He is a victim of perception, of how public opinion, editing choices, and long-standing narratives can twist reality. Strictly Come Dancing remains a cherished institution, woven into the fabric of British television culture. But moments like these chip away at its magic. When viewers start to believe that outcomes feel manufactured rather than organic, that journeys feel steered rather than earned, something fundamental is lost. And when that happens, even glitter and sequins are not enough to hide the cracks.